Tim Pool says it's okay for men to leer at women in public. They're just trying to figure out if the women around them are sufficiently fertile. Oh, maybe I'm going to agree with Tim on this one. What's up, Tim?
The first thing we'll do is, of course, we'll address the pure viral video with 6.5 million views. Provide some social commentary as to why this woman is upset. A man is looking at her. I love this because...
Wait, can I see the... Can somebody link the video to me? Can somebody link that video to me so that I actually see the video? I'll wait.
It's like, let me just get it out of the way. Young women wearing booty pants being like, I don't understand why men are looking at me. It's because they want to have sex with you. Now,
okay. Here we go. I would be staring hardcore. I judge the out of people at Whole Foods self-checkout, but I've been a cashier, so I operate a high level. Oh, this is a one like... Okay, so this is irrelevant. Okay, what is this? All right, we need to, like, address the elephant in the room right away, okay? I'm gonna share my thoughts on leering. Why is there a camera there? She put the camera there to, like, do this, okay? I'll talk about that in a second. I will say, however, this girl looks like 17 to me, you know? So, I'm going to address that now and then not mention it again because we're going to talk about leering generally. But this guy fully looks like 3 times. Yeah, he does not look 17. You know? I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't... She could be like 25. I don't know. Like, all I'm saying is that, like, the age difference is substantial. I think that some degree of decorum could be nice in a, you know, in an environment that is public. He's 17. He's just had a really rough life. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. You know, let's keenly observe the behavior here so that we can make broad generalizing statements. Okay, I gotta ask my man over here, fake and rage bait? Yeah, probably fake and rage bait. It's probably fake and rage bait. He's not acting like the way a person would normally leer. That being said, what's going on down there, man? Is she pissing herself? What's so interesting? How is she recording if she's holding her phone? Well, I think that we might have to consider the possibility that she has 2 phones and that this was either deliberately orchestrated and set up and planned and it's all acted and fake, or she just made the very reasonable assumption that if she wore tight white pants at a grocery store and, like, kind of leaned forward, that guys would look at her ass.
That's what you guys are, just a couple of meat bags.
Okay, all right. Now we've seen the video, which had like 50 trillion views. Tim Pool, give us your take.
now, that doesn't mean that they quite literally on the spot want to. It means they are checking out your body because in nature, women produce babies and men.
Okay, I gotta be real with you guys. Why the Tim, why are you being a little queer, my man? That's my job. What is this? Why do you guys make having sex with women sound so unappealing? Is that what you like see a hot, beautiful babe and you're like, in nature, women are made to bear the young? What the f you make like it's like you're choosing to make it weird. And I think it's because it's like a dehumanizing thing. Like you don't want to acknowledge that sexual attraction still puts you both at an equal level socially. You have to think of it in a kind of like carnal, you take the woman and make them an incubator for your young or whatever. But like, you're not, dog, you're not, if that was actually what you were thinking about, then why do you think about getting your... Come on. You're not thinking about like having her bear your children. You're thinking about enjoying her body, which is fine. That's like life, whatever. It's like they choose to make it creepy because the majority audience of Tim Pool has really weird values when it comes to women, you know? So they don't want to, like, this is one of the reasons why the right wing, like whenever the right wing talks about sex, they never ever sound like they have it. They never sound normal. They can never just be like, oh yeah, well, when you see a beautiful woman, it's like, I mean, you think of her because she's like really hot, right? No big deal. Like, because that's obvious. Like, you know, no one would disagree with that. Instead, they have to make it this bizarre, like pseudo evo psychology screed because it designates the appropriate mix of I don't know, distance and contempt. It's very strange. Very, very strange. You know? I don't get it.
And would like to find women who have good genetics to produce babies.
Like this shit, man. Why are you making it all sound so gay? You're like deliberately taking a beautiful thing, which is you know, having sex with a beautiful lady, and making it sound horrible. Why are you doing that? You really want me to believe that this is something you enjoy when you talk about it like this? I don't literally think you're like Ace or whatever. It's just, why are you doing that? It's wild. Yeah, this is why conservatives hate Joe Cat, because he actually likes women, you know? He's giving us sex havers a bad name. It's just I don't understand how you can talk about sex that way and not feel really embarrassed, you know?
Babies with. For men, it's actually quite easy. You look at a woman. Does she look like she can have babies?
That's, yeah, that's definitely, that's how the process works, man, 100%. That's 100%. Why look at their face? What does facial symmetry have to do with the likelihood of them being able to bear children? Like, oh, well, actually, that means the genetics of the child would be, okay, like, you would never have sex with a woman unless it was for procreation. Are you literally gay? I'm not trying to be petty about this. It's just like, it feels like it genuinely comes from a place of disgust towards the entire act. Like it's a vile biological function that, like, biologically, I have to shit, dude. I don't like... But my attitude towards shitting is that it's just something I have to do and get over with, you know? I don't talk about sex that way. I have to shit. I choose to have sex because it's fun. Why do you make it sound so unfun? I don't get it. I don't get it. What about being a good housewife? Well, that's the thing as well. Like the fake evo-psych, because it's never real research, right? It's always just like post hoc justifying some belief you have. The fake evo-psych nonsense is usually internally contradictory. It's the same reason conservatives will say, like, being a male, being a man is biological. And then they'll be like, well, you're not a real man unless you do X. What do you mean by that? You're not a real man unless you have, like, jeans and a pickup truck? What does that mean? What are you talking about? And then they'll be like, well, actually, the entire purpose of sexual attraction is, like, to facilitate the procreation. No, it's not. Are you fucking dumb? Are you stupid? What do you think jobs are for, dumbass? You see, everything people do that's tied to sexual attraction is procreation. What about kissing, you fucking numbskull? You think kissing is necessary for procreation? Like, what are you talking about? It's insane. And then you mention this, and then they pretend that this makes sense, that you can reconcile this like juxtaposition, you know? Where they're like, well, actually, I don't do any of those things. I simply, like, jerk off 99% to completion and then slip the tip in, and then I come, and then I'm done. And that way I minimize, you know, that's the most efficient way to inseminate the female and make them produce, like, my children. And when they're already pregnant, I don't have sex with them again because there's no point, because the whole purpose is to inseminate them with more babies. What are you talking about, man? You're crazy. You're insane. I cannot believe the left let the right, maybe this is changing with Joe Cat, the left let the right get heterosexual sex in the national divorce. Because you motherfuckers either aren't having it or aren't enjoying it. You're not gonna convince me. You're not gonna convince me you guys enjoy sex when you talk like this. I mean, Andrew Tate just flat out admitted that he doesn't enjoy sex, and he only has sex with beautiful women as a power sign to other men, which, like, okay, all right.
Okay.
See, he even agrees. Sounds like a Cumtown bit. Yeah, but that's, like, actually the shit they say. It's insane. It's, like, genuinely psychotic, right? It's crazy. The world they live in is very gray and sad, like it becomes about power. But here's the thing. I don't think that they actually live that life. I think that Tim Pool or whatever other conservative, whatever the like, I think they hug and they kiss and they cuddle. I don't, like, maybe not all of them do, but I think that, like, because it's almost universally enjoyable, they do those things, but they can't talk about sex that way because then they would have to acknowledge it as like a setting of like mutual intimacy in which, you know, you're both like vulnerability, like, but they can't do that. They have to pretend that it's just this purely biological function because that's how they logically justify it. Watch me justify what's happening in this video without having to defer to fake evo-psych. Dog, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with checking out the ass of a beautiful woman in a grocery store. Don't leer, by which I mean, like, first of all, don't make them feel uncomfortable ever. Like, don't stare at them or whatever, and don't be weird, but like, obviously looking at beautiful people, which is something everyone does, and I think everyone enjoys doing to some extent, right? Sometimes like they bend over, they've got a nice ass. That's life, man. And if you've got a nice ass and you bend over to pick something up, people check your ass out, I can understand how that might at times be frustrating, or you might feel like you're kind of like meat in a bar, in like a butcher's window. I totally understand that. I sympathize with that. And I'm not saying that's an invalid feeling. I'm only saying that, like, to an extent, this is kind of part of life, right? Like, it's not purely a heterosexual thing. Literally, go to like a gay leather bar. Go to a lesbian bar. I have, you know, go in there. Well, like, clearly there's something about the human condition. We want to look at pretty people when they bend over. I'm sorry. Just don't be weird about it. You know? That's it. Dumbass rage bait content.
This is why there's like rouge, pinching the cheeks, lipstick. These are signs of fertility.
Doing the Jordan Peterson bit here, you know. That's why women wear like makeup. That's, first of all, like 99% of makeup is concealer and eyeliner, which I don't know. Is that fertility? You know, fertility is designated by having perfectly smooth skin and having ridiculously long eyelashes. They always forget eyeliner and concealer. Yeah, because this fake ass like Jordan Peterson makeup is purely done to attract men sexually bullshit, which you would know is not true if you ever spoke to a woman. Yeah, it falls apart if you think about it in any greater extent. Also, men used to wear makeup. I mean, some men still do, but yeah, like to varying extents. You could say like, oh, well, you know, women wear tights because it naturally accentuates the hips or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, men wore tights for literal centuries. What about that? Could they breed? Like, did they have a womb? Maybe.
For men, it's a little bit more complicated and difficult. And this goes into the what women really want question that home.
Wait, how? Wait, what?
Lipstick. These are why there's like rouge, pinching the cheeks, lipstick. These are signs of fertility. For men, it's a little bit more complicated and difficult. And this
is fertility literally the only thing you're attracted to, Tim? Like, if you see a woman walking down the street with like, and she's like, let's be fair here, busted, and she's got like 7 screaming kids with her, that bitch pumps them out. Like, that's you're like rock hard, like 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. Really? That's it? I mean, that's a pretty strong indicator of fertility. Certainly that's a better indicator of fertility than having lipstick on. I mean, is that all it takes? It's just such a silly, it's just so silly. It's so dumb.
This goes into the what women really want question that Home Math brings up. But this is a lot of, you can't just look at a guy and know. It's not so easy. Now, of course, a tall guy.
Tim might be projecting some of his insecurities a little bit here.
That's a good sign of protection and good genetics, because then you're going to have kids who are strong and be protected. Muscles, ripped.
How does being tall mean your kids are going to be strong? What is that? What? What's the core? If anything, if you wanted strength, wouldn't you want a big fat guy? Like, on average, like the strongest men you're going to see day to day are going to be like big barrel-chested fat dudes. Those guys are really strong. Like, there's a reason why weight classes are a thing in all contact sports. Sorry, I shouldn't say all contact. Stupid. In all like martial sports, you know, boxing or Muay Thai or whatever. Because if you're like, you could be like a super strong pound for pound, like 135 pound little super powerful, you know, and then go up against like a 350 pound barrel chested fat dude, he'll knock your ass flat. He just has more inertia built into him, you know? Like, yeah, big fat guy's like strong as hell. So like what about like that's good protection, Tim? So are women all like chasing after big fat boys? Well, as my life demonstrates, yes, but I want to hear you make that point. Stupid. I don't know why I'm putting effort into like debunking this. There's no thought put into it. It's just like it's just really funny how bad conservatives are at constructing a narrative here.
Deep voice.
What does a deep voice have to do with strength and protect? How are you evo-psyching this shit, dude? Yeah, women like a guy with a full head of hair. He chokes back like sobs. Because it means like genetically, like it means their follicles are strong, which means that they'll be protected. What are you on about, dude? Jesus Christ.
None of which are guarantees. That's why when you show a woman a picture of a chiseled tall man, they say he's attractive. But if you include a body,
I mean, he might be. There are unattractive chiseled tall guys. Generally, being tall and being muscular are considered attractive traits. Yeah, but is that like, does that mean the underlying logic is about protection, or are these aesthetic traits that we value like generally?
IO, where it says he's like I don't know, assistant manager in a supermarket, then they lower their value of the guy from like 9 to 6 or 7.
What? Has anyone told Tim that the red pill movement kind of died out a while ago? That the like matching your SMV to the SMV of the other person, the hypergamy, that all these things like that like wave of right-wing grifters trying to capitalize on the insecurity of 13-year-old boys, like that's not, bro's still at the function, man. The function's over. Remember how many times I've said that conservatism relies on male insecurity? Like that is the #1 thing it relies on, more so than anything else. Tim understands the assignment. He's just bad at it. Tim is bad at this. Good point. It probably doesn't help
really
that he's like,
and why they do this.
Sorry. Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. It auto-played. I scrolled back up. It doesn't help that Tim is like generally a pretty pathetic guy, right? Like in a lot of ways. So maybe he doesn't sell the idea very well. Like you need like an Andrew Tate, you know, like muscle man to sell the image, or like the fresh and fit, like, oh, I'm a big guy, I'm very strong, haha. I don't know. Just doesn't sell quite as well.